everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Emily. If this is your first time, thank you for clicking on my link. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and don't forget to share with your friends or family that you think might be interested in what I'm about to share. And I know if you click on my link, I know you are into assisted living or group home or home care business. That is kind of how we got into my channel. My channel, I post videos weekly about assisted living journey, how my journey was to opening up my own assisted living, in the hopes that it might guide you in this process as you start working on opening up your own assisted living. So if you're on this video, go down to my playlist that says CEO Journey. That's where all the videos related to assisted living are posted. So go on there, look through from start to finish. I'm sure you will find a bag full of knowledge and information to guide you in this process. Again, if you're already my subscriber, thank you. And I'm glad you're here. In this video, I'm gonna talk to you guys about payment in assisted living. I get a lot of questions, who pays for assisted living? How do I get funding? How do I get payment? How my residents gonna pay me? So assisted living is different from nursing home and hospital. So I'm gonna make another video talking about the differences between assisted living and nursing home. But the payment for assisted living is a little bit different from nursing home payment, which is something you need to know before you get into this business. One of the most common payment for assisted living is, private pay, meaning that, the residents or your potential residents will get money from their bank account and send it to your business bank account or their personal account. So that is how they pay for it. Either it is from family members that contribute to help pay for their room and board, or it's money that they've saved over the years of working into their personal savings account. Now they're going to use that to pay for their care at their assisted living. So that is the most common way we get payment from our residents. It's mostly private pay. There's no insurance. It's mostly private pay, meaning however they get their money, whether it's a support from family, a daughter paying for their mom, a son paying for their dad, and vice versa, a son paying for their mother, or a mother's savings from her personal checking account or savings account. The check gets written and it comes to you, or it's a direct transfer from that savings account or banking account to your business account for the payment. So, that's the most common way we get payment from residents. Again, there's sometimes that the residents might not have enough savings in their personal account and they need some kind of help or some kind of funding. And in that case, they have other, what do they call it? They have like charity organizations that can help fund or support a resident or other government organization. The most common one is your veteran administration, your VA. So if your resident was a veteran, or if your resident is a veteran, or the resident is a spouse of a veteran, they have some kind of subsidy that they might get from the VA to help pay for some of their expense at your facility. Say the VA is able to give them maybe $500 a month to support them as a veteran or as a spouse of a veteran. Then maybe they had another $1,000, and say your monthly room and board and fees, everything is $1,800. So now they have $1,000 that they only have $1,000 a month. Now the VA is able to give them $800, and that makes up the $1,800, and they're now able to give you that money to help pay for their room and board. So some of the cases when you come across residents, another way to see is just ask them, hey, are you a veteran or are you a spouse of a veteran? Because there's this subsidy that they can help you if you qualify for it. So even if you see a resident that can't afford your facility, and they are a veteran, you can look into that and see if the VA is able to give them some kind of support to help them cover their room and board. So that's another way that you can get your funding, or you can get funding for your resident. A way is life insurance policies. Say your resident or loved one, or the spouse or kid had a life insurance and they were the beneficiary. So now if that loved one passes away, now they have the benefits of that life insurance. Now they can use that money to now pay for their room and board at your facility. So that's another way the resident can get funding to pay for their room and board or services at your facility. Again, that is not very common, because you can only use that when the loved one passes away. So it might be a long stretch, but that's another way. If your resident comes in and they tell you, hey, I only have this in my personal savings account or checking account, but I have a life insurance policy and I'm a beneficiary, then you can work with them, with the accountant, how they can get those benefits in order to pay for the services they get at your facility. So that's another way is family support. I know I already mentioned that early in the beginning, but yeah, I work in a hospital too, so I know the cases that there's a difficult discharge, meaning that the resident cannot afford to be at a facility, so they only get $500 from their Social Security, and that's all they get. Rarely would you see an assisted living that the monthly expense or coverage is $500. That's rare. Even if there are some, it might not be the best. So if they only have $500 a month from Social Security, and they need about $1,000 or $1,500 to be in a comfortable assisted living, then in that case, we've had to call maybe a family member, maybe a cousin, a sister, an aunt, kids, and say, hey, how much can you guys give? Can you give $200 a month? Can you give $100 a month? Can you give $500 a month? And kind of split the remaining $1,000 among the resident's family, so each can give a little bit of something to come up with the amount that that resident needs to be in that facility. So that's what we call family support. So if a resident has a lot of family members, they are all very supportive, care for that resident, and they only have, say, $500 a month from their Social Security, y'all could have a family meeting and say, hey, she really likes my place. Or connect with a social worker and say, hey, she really likes my place, is close to family, is close to wherever she wants to be, but my facility fee is $1,500. She only has $500. Can you all chip in to support your mom, your aunt, your sister, or cousin so she can move into my facility? Usually the social worker or care manager will be able to facilitate that. Or if you're using a referral agency, they might be able to coordinate that for you, such that the whole family comes to an agreement. Even if they can give $100, if they have 10 family members and each gives $100, that's $1,000 that she can add to her $500 and be able to afford your facility. So that's another way. Don't just say no to a resident just because they have $500 and they can't afford. Maybe there are other ways that you can help them, help you pay your rent, and you help them by taking care of them. So don't push that out of the way. Always find a way and see how you can work with them. And sometimes you might need to cut the price off, give them maybe $100 off or $200 off, if you find that perfect resident that is going to blend well with your other residents. So don't let money be the deciding factor. Be willing to negotiate a little bit if you find that perfect resident. That's how I see it, and that's how I roll. So another way is to sell the resident's home. So the resident they might have been living in their own home, but it's not safe for them anymore. They're falling, too many times. They're going to the hospital too many times. They're forgetting to eat. They're getting dehydrated. They're forgetting to clean themselves. They have bed sores. They're not able to care for themselves at home anymore, and they cannot afford to pay someone to come at home and look after them 24 hours. So another way would be for that resident to sell their home, Now use the revenue from that home to be able to now pay her monthly expense at your facility. So you can always find out from the social worker or the resident or the care manager or the referral agency who is referring you that patient. See what they have, what kind of assets they have, and see how they can maneuver that to help cover their expense at your facility. So the other point that I have is reverse mortgage. I think we all know how that works. Take a second mortgage, but I don't know if they want to do that. But again, that's another option that a resident or family might use to be able to afford the fees at an assisted living facility. So again, those are the various options of pay for assisted living facilities. I know sometimes they have the Medicare waiver. Their rules and regulations are really strict, and what they pay is not always enough. So that's something you need to consider if you applying for Medicare waiver. You have to consider that. Again, for a small facility, you have 4-bed, 3-bed, that might not help, because a Medicare waiver works with volume. Say if you had 20 residents and they only pay $1,500, definitely you can use that times 20 to cover for the expenses of your facility and pay your staff. But if you have only a 3-bed facility, a 4-bed facility, or 2-bed facility, and they're paying $1,500, that might not be able to cover all your expenses and pay the staff and get the food and the utility bills and all of that. So Medicare waiver is an option, but the amount of revenue that they offer to facilities and the regulations might be a little bit on the cons of using that form of payment, but definitely it's up to you. You can research it and see if that works for your facility. Again, guys, I hope this was helpful to you. Again, I get questions. How do I get paid? How do I get paid? These are some of the ways you can get payment for the services you provide for your residents at your facility. So when you get a referral or you get a call from a social worker, care manager, referral agency, a friend, a colleague, about their loved one, you can ask those questions and see how they can get money to add onto what they have to be able to afford your facility. Thank you guys for watching. If this is your first time, you can click that subscribe button, click that like button, ask me any questions in the comment section, and I'll surely reply to you guys. Again, I hope this video was helpful to you, and I'll see you all on my next video.